triggering change, one heartbeat at a time. Battle for freedom. Welcome, everyone. This is Watson Prunier, and I forgot my hat, my handy-dandy hat. Make sure we got that working there. Watson Prunier from Battle for Freedom on Mojo5 Radio. Glad that everyone can join me today. Listen, it is Thursday, and we're going to do this the right way as we get into everything that's just disgusting, everything that is insane for us in this country, in this world right now. And the only way to do this the correct way is to bring a person who's equally as insane as I am. It is Thursday. We're talking about For Better or Worse, marrying lies, and I can't do this without having Dominic Izzo as part of this thing with me. So, folks, we're going to welcome Dominic Izzo.
Did you just sit there and go everything disgusting about we got to bring in Izzo?
No, not everything disgusting is to bring in Izzo. It's just that. No. Everything disgusting with the world and someone who could actually talk about it, who's actually lived through disgusting, who
knows better about the filth of the world than our very own Dominic Izzo.
Yeah, everything wrong with the world, and let's bring in Dominic Izzo. No. Now that you say it that way, I understand exactly what you're talking about. Okay, yeah, so it did come off that right way. Let me start this from the beginning one more time. No, folks, listen. Okay, so many of you who are not aware, Dominic Izzo comes on at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. He is part of the great crew called Mojo5 Radio. So you want to go to mojo50.com. If you click the button schedule, you'll find out that he comes on Monday through Friday at 7 p.m. Those of you who are listening in iHeartRadio, this is just the information we want you to understand. izzo.us. I know he could tell you all this stuff himself, but
I won't.
But he won't. My website.
Your show.
Battle4Freedom.com. Battle4Freedom.com. Dominic, how did you start your day off drink wise? Was it whiskey or American Pride Roasters coffee? Which one did you start your day off?
I do bulletproof coffee with Izzo's Rage Brew from American Pride Roasters.
Yeah, so how long have you been drinking that?
As long as it's been around. So it's been around a year and a half now.
Oh. Yeah, so mine showed up probably about a year later, but I'm happy with Watson's White Chocolate Mocha. I think it's still a great blend. It's one to appreciate, but there's a lot of people who are enjoying Izzo's Rage when you just need that extra strength, that extra oomph when you're going through.
Why did you get the white mocha? Why can't you're not mulatto? You're not. Is that still okay to say or no?
Hey, dude, I've been called sellout, so I don't take offense. I don't take offense to the term mulatto. I don't even know what the terms are. I don't know.
Do you have a white parent?
I believe that there's some white in the history of my parents. My parents are just lighter skinned. My parents are both.
You're unlike Kamala Harris and unlike Barack Obama. You are a black man. So I don't know why you got the white mocha. It should be like it's Watson Prunier, host of Watson Prunier's Coffee, where it's darker than midnight during the eclipse of the moon.
Yeah. Well, see, the thing about it though is, speaking of For Better or For Worse, marrying lies, I think the problem that we get, and good morning everyone who decided to join on Facebook. Appreciate every last one of you. Linda says double trouble, and LOL. Yeah. Yes, this is double trouble here today. No, I want to get into that for a second there though. There's this obsession, Dominic, with color. And my blackness, and and I struggle with this only from this perspective is for me as a Christian, blackness gets in the way of my identity as a Christian. And a lot of people say, well, you can be both Christian and you can be black. So for me, it just doesn't make sense because it just doesn't work. Like, okay, so when you were a police officer, were you a police officer or were you an Italian police officer? Like,
what?
Which one came first?
No, don't forget though. We've got the Italian American Federation of Police Officers Association, which I'm a member to. So I don't know. All I know is, can I tell you, this is something that you've talked about. I've talked about. We've talked about. God knows how long. Aren't you? I am at least. Aren't you so tired of talking about this? I
Exhausted.
you see Kamala Harris, and of course the media is projecting her, both of them already, right? She's the first. What is it now? She's the first Black Indian person of color female, and
Yeah.
they're going to keep adding on things. Then it's going to be the first Black female Indian person of color who's over 5'7". Then it's going to be the first Black female over 5'7" Indian amputee. They're just going to keep adding things, and it's. I saw somebody post the other day, and it is what it is. I never cared about the color of your skin, never cared about your sexual orientation, never cared about your religion, never cared about your gender until you kept forcing it down my throat.
Yeah.
Now it's like I am becoming racist and sexist and bigoted and phobic, and I just get away from me. I want nothing to do with you.
Yeah. And it's unfortunate because of the fact that what people don't seem to understand is they're so busy focusing on the labels. They're allowing the labels to just be right in front of your face. It's like constant. It's almost. I want to go big with what you're just saying there. They keep evolving these new terms, these new heights that have been reached. It's almost like a consistent rolling of ads, Dominic. It's like it's almost constant advertisement of what your label is, this new thing, this new brand, this new thing to improve and look at the progression that we're making. It's kind of like for me when I sit and I look at like I started watching yesterday Apple's M1 technology that they put out in the new MacBook Pro and the new Mac line. I'm very intrigued by what this is going to do. Is it going to really do everything that it says it has? Is it going to really function as fast as it says it can? It has 16 trillion functions or 16 billion functions that happen at the same time. But when you look at the operating system, so that you could do this with your photos and you can do that, I'm sitting here thinking like, well, what has improved with the operating system?
Mm-hmm.
What has really improved with the device except you just have a new packaging of it? It's exactly like that. It's still the Mac Pro, it's still the iPhone, but because it has an extra lens, it can do this much more. And
Marketing.
if you just pay $9.99 and you'll get
Marketing.
all these whiz bang features.
Well, there you go. You just paid $9.99. You got a brand new female who's going to be president, and if they win.
Well, so here's something actually I want to go with you on. I posted something the other day, and a lot of people didn't like the idea, but I had an image. I had an image of Barack Obama, of Kamala Harris, and no, actually, it was a picture of Joe Biden.
Yeah, Joe Biden almost doing the snap from Avengers.
Yeah, and just have them fade out, and you have Kamala Harris and Barack Obama, and the thing said Harris Obama 2021.
Right.
So the idea where some people didn't like the idea of Barack Obama being put as vice president, and they were like, well, he can't be vice president because that would make him president. It's like, but he wasn't elected president again, because if she puts him in,
yeah, they wouldn't do that. They wouldn't do that though.
You don't think so?
No.
Why not?
Because how many people were 100% certain that Michelle Obama was going to run?
Yeah.
I mean, you rewind back to like when they didn't have a nominee yet. Oh, it's going to be Michelle Obama. It's going to be so all this kind of certain stuff like that. No,
Okay. Okay. Well, here's the problem that many people are just so sold on this thing about the socialism. One of the things I know that you've said often on your show is, why are we fighting with these people? Give them what they want. And so maybe people need to see exactly what socialism will look like. Maybe people need to see what democracy will look like. Because often people talk about us being a democracy rather than a republic, not recognizing, Dominic, that democracy means the majority opinion wins.
100%. So democracy is not, if there's 100 of us and 99 of us want to go out to ice cream, but one person sits there and says, I want to go out for pizza. Well, the mob then gangs up and they beat up the person who wants to go for pizza until they decide that they want to go for ice cream.
Yeah.
That's how democracy works. That's not constitutional republic aspect. That is a democracy.
Yeah.
So, mob rules.
In this mob rule mentality,
Oh, I gotta back up. I'm sorry. And since the guy who wants to go for pizza, he's the most wealthiest, he's paying for everybody else's ice cream.
Yes. And he's the one who's paying. And guess what? And if he refuses to, the other
Then
98
everybody else.
Yeah, the other 98 will jump up on that one in the 99, basically saying, you better pay for our pizza.
Yeah. That's where I'm at. It's like, I'm so tired. It's got to be like kids having kids, which I don't have. And it's kind of like, at what point do your kids like, oh, you want this? You know what? Go ahead and do it. Go ahead and do it. You don't think that the stove is hot? Go ahead and touch it. Go. Because I don't want to hear you scream when you burn yourself.
Yeah.
That's what's going to happen. And I'm okay with it.
Well, and that's the thing about it is, many of the people think that they're going to continue marrying this. I mean, because here's the thing about it that I'm trying to understand. I'm watching people left and right who are basically saying, oh, this is a conspiracy theory, that you guys can't handle the results of the election and you need to just grow up and move on and accept that, your buddy lost. And I'm sitting here thinking, like, wait, you guys spent the last 4 years trying to delegitimize the presidency of Donald Trump. So why in the world should you have a pass to spend $55-60 million to go into Russian collusion and Ukrainian quid pro quo? But no, people don't want. They're like, well, no, watch now Trump is going to spend millions and millions of taxpayer dollars just to prove that he was president of the United States. I'm like, but you said nothing. You said nothing about the millions of dollars being wasted on Russian collusion. I'm sitting here thinking, I'm like, how in
trying to make sense of these people?
And I think that's the mistake right there.
Yeah, it is. It's. I'm going to tell you, it's my problem. And I once I identified and I became at peace with it. The problem is you're intelligent, and your audience is intelligent, and we are now the echo chamber.
Yeah.
No longer it's 2016 and everyone's talking their own echo. The right has their own echo chamber, and you are speaking facts. You are speaking evidence. You are speaking logic. The people on the left, and it's not so much liberals, because I talk about it. I can get behind certain liberal ideology. I do think I can get behind certain socialism ideology. I believe, I feel that free healthcare is a good thing. I believe that free education is a good thing. How you pay for it and fund it is why I will never support those ideas. So, yeah, would I like to see everybody get healthcare for free? Yeah, that's a perfect world. Why wouldn't I? Would I want to see everybody able to learn for free? 100%. But paying for it, different story. So socialism, no. But as far as trying to explain to these people, liberals is one thing. The ideology is okay. I have friends who are liberals. It's the leftists.
Yeah.
The leftists, they are not good people. Fundamentally, there is something insanely wrong with them. They are not capable of logic and reasoning. They're drones. I don't think that they are firing on all 8 cylinders. I think they're mental health issues.
Yeah. Well, I mean, when you say
that serious.
Well, I mean, I'm going to show you. I found this graphic earlier today. This was online, and it was the person who's breaking down socialism via capitalism. But in all the different things, you see Democrat socialism, revisionist socialism, classical socialism, and socialism in its totality. But the one that I want to focus on is the one all the way to the left, in that kind of maroonish brown color, and that's anarchism. Because of the fact that, if anything, if we look at everything that took place on the landscape, Dominic, and we watched what is taking place in our country, not just just over the summer. The responses to, if they did not get the direction of what they wanted for the election, what we were going to get: anarchy. Anarchy is what we're going to get. And
but everybody keeps. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, go ahead. Continue. Go ahead, bro.
Everybody keeps thinking that capitalism is going to go away when socialism is brought up. You're out of your mind. Capitalism is going to be strengthened. It's called the black market. Hey, Watson, you're 7th in line to get heart surgery under this new socialist free care, free whatever health insurance for all, right? Or you're 10th in line for bread to feed your family, or whatever this. It's because all socialism programs, right? No, I'm the guy who's running the breadline. Hey Watson, you want to jump in first? Bring me an envelope of cash. Hey Watson, do you want to move to the head of the line for your heart surgery so you don't die? Bring us some cash. It's called capitalism, supply and demand.
Yeah.
It's going to get worse.
And it's very interesting because as you look at one of the hosts of Room 13, Raquel Lee, basically says, the Democrat way, do as we say, not as we do.
What the hell is she doing up right now? Does she ever sleep?
Does she ever sleep? No, she doesn't sleep. She's because she's too busy drinking Isso's rage.
Good Lord. Morning, Rocky.
Yeah, but as you sit here, and Christopher Warner basically said, there's nothing free. Someone always pay for it. So I want to go back to that for a second there. I believe that you can make some of these free things available, but like you said, let's go back to who pays for it. And this is where I run into a problem because, okay, a couple days ago, they were having the discussion, Dominic, of Obamacare. Basically the severability clause and basically removing out the mandate that penalized people whether or not they were going to have insurance. Because we understand that they kept saying that Obamacare was going to be this great solution and the Affordable Care Act was going to be this great solution. But what they didn't tell you was that they were dependent on actually overcharging and taxing American citizens to actually pay for the program. And people who did not subscribe to the program. And so here's a couple of things that I run into, and I'm trying to go through the Constitution to find this, Dominic. But where in the Constitution does it say that the government is required to provide a service for the people and that they are going to pay for the service for the people and that we have to charge the American people for the service that they may not agree with? Because again, that's the problem with democracy. Democracy basically says we're going to implement this plan whether you like it or not, and you have to subsidize it.
They play on your human side, just like with the vaccine. They play on your human side. It's you're a bad person if you disagree with people getting free health care and whatnot. They're going to do the same thing with the vaccine. The vaccine isn't for your safety, Watson Pernay. It's for the other safeties.
Yeah.
So they're going to wind up that's how they try to shame people into stuff. That's all this is. And you know what? That's why it's so awesome being me. I have no shame. I don't care. Won't wear a mask. You're vet, and I said it, last night. I've been in the fit. I'm a gym rat. I have put very questionable stuff in my body with a needle. Why shouldn't I take the vaccine? A, for two reasons. Number one, because they're forcing me to. Number two, because no, I'm not going to do it. But it's like, no, I don't care. This is going to save lives. May not save yours. I don't care.
Well, and that's a problem that people don't seem to understand. Liberty is at stake here. Liberty and freedom of the individual is at stake here. My body, my rights, my choice. We hear that because that's the biggest argument, that no man should tell a woman what to do with her body. But this idea that concept doesn't roll over into every human being, just because I'm not carrying a child in my womb does not mean that I don't have a choice of what goes on with my body. Like you said, because if people want to, it's sad. I don't agree with it, but I can't change a person's decision whether or not they want to drink alcohol, they want to smoke crack, whatever they want to do. Unfortunately, there's a lot of damage. There are victims. It's not a victimless crime. There are lives that are affected by the choices that we make. If we put chemicals into our system, if we tattoo ourselves out to wazoo like that dragon person who decided, in France, who was going to be a teacher to children and got to the point that they tattooed their eyes black. I mean, there are consequences.
God, that comes. PTSD, dude.
Come again?
PTSD. You were born in the 70s?
Born in the 70s, yeah.
Dude, 70s and 70s horror movies probably are scarier than anything they put out now. Could you remember being a kid, like watching, like I remember, I think it was 80s, but oh crap, I remember some in Rocky with an eyes.
Children. No,
it wasn't. it wasn't Chill in the Corner. I remember watching the Dennis Quaid movie, Dreamscape, when I was a kid, right? I didn't watch it. My parents are watching it. And I'm like 7 years old or something, or whatever. And I kind of sneak this scene. And, you know, if you look at it now, you're like, oh, that's not scary. But, you know, it's like you look at it and this thing scares the hell out of you. Well, how do you think oh, it's acceptable? You should have this giant feathered boa, pee-pee smoocher man who's all dragged out, tattooing your face, teaching your kids. Children don't learn to hate. No, see, here's the deal. You're not biologically designed to see that stuff. That is why PTSD exists, is because on the battlefield, we're not designed to see limbs blown off people, you know, or blood here. That's why people faint when they see blood, because they're not designed to see that. So when you get some monstrous tattooed, clearly man pretending up that he's a female, it does do a number on your children. They can't help it.
Yes.
Oh my God. People are stupid.
Here's one I thought that was really, this is one of the, Peter Seraphin, who shared this. This was pretty interesting what he said. He said, if free education or free healthcare is such a good idea, why don't rich progressive create charitable foundations? And that's exactly my point. If you are going to turn around and you're going to offer these things for free, and if you want to create an environment where someone tattooed up to know tomorrow can actually scare the nonsense out of your children, create those environments, but don't make it the standard that everybody else has to abide by. This one shoe fits solution that everybody has to be under this umbrella. Why do you think that they fight so much against the what's the name of the other schooling system? It's not the public schooling system.
Homeschool?
Charter schools.
Yeah.
Charter schools and homeschools. Why do you think that they fight against those so much? Because those schools do not have to completely function the same exact way that the public education system, the indoctrination system functions. They have a little more freedom and latitude on how they do things and portray things. And so the government doesn't have control over what content or how or what does the class evolve or look like. And so what happens is people keep thinking that democracy is a great thing, but democracy is Brad Stagg says, I spit on your grave. As you sit here.
Oh, that was, what's his name? Who was that was the director who, and your audience shouldn't know this one, but Brad Wood, who did all the like very chesty 70s movies. They were horror and very breastage gratuitous.
Oh, wow. Oh, yeah. Well, you know what? There's going to be a lot more breastage gratuity as a result of the communism and the sexism and the very things that they hate, and they say that Republicans and conservatives do, that that we objectify women, but everything that they do, this is what I don't get, and this is what I don't understand. They complain about being objectified, but you have naked women who basically, literally, they walk naked protesting about being objectified. And I'm sitting here thinking, like, do you recognize your own actions are contradicting the very thing that you're upset about? And then I realized, if you go back to my broadcast a couple of days ago, and I mentioned this whole idea of there are broken circuits in a lot of people, Dominic. There are a lot of people who have their circuits there have been fuses that have blown, that, you know, the circuitry is broken and there needs to be soldering back to make the circuit function the way it needs to, because these people, their wires are crossed badly, or someone's crossed the stream. And it's a bad thing. Listen, we're about to go to a break here in about 30 seconds. Remember, this is Dominic Izzo. He's gonna share his perspective on this as we talk about the nightmare, the nightmare that decides to come in. Oh, so Brad Stagg said Corman.
No, that Harvey Corman. No, that was no.
Yeah. Folks,
no, I went from trying to find it, and just it got me over to the top 70s erotic movies. So now I'm just searching that.
Folks, listen, this is Watson Prunier with Dominic Izzo. We're going to go to a break, and when we get back, we'll talk a little bit more about For Better, For Worse, Marrying Lies. This election will be vital to the health and sustainability of our country. Our role from this day on could steer the election in either direction. Why? The way we treat one another. In John 13:35, Jesus says, "By this all people will know that you are my disciples, if you have love for one another." We know that every election cycle brings out the worst in us. If there was ever a point for honesty, it is in how we act during election season. As much as we would want our candidate to win, attacking a person with contrary opinions only makes them determined to reject our point of view all the more. It may come off as ignorant from them, but we cannot claim innocence if we allow arrogance and disrespect to be the means in which we communicate with those who support the other party or other candidates. Our goal was and will never be to convert voters. Our role is to give them the information needed prior to them casting their vote. It is their choice and right of what they do with that information. Understand, more people are aware of the political corruption and hypocrisy than they wish or want to admit. So there's nothing for us to prove. Choose to be people who invoke change rather than people who irritate and strain. Dale Carnegie once wrote, "A man convinced against his will is of the same opinion still." In other words, give people the room to make their own mistakes. Without seeing that they were wrong, they would be blind to see what is right. Remember, every soldier present and gone have fought for the right of every American citizen to vote their own conscience. To insult and ridicule people for exercising their liberty to vote for their candidate is to also desecrate the efforts, memories, and sacrifices made by our heroes for said liberty. Please, show respect. Our nation depends on it. Welcome back, everyone. This is Watson Prenate from Battle for Freedom on Mojo 5 Radio. I've got Dominic Izzo on with me as we sit here and we talk about, for better, for worse, marrying lies, the issues of communism, the issues of election fraud, and so much more. You know what, Dominic, he actually introduced us to a pretty cool sponsor that we have, which is Anthony Macchiotti and New Life Holistic. This is for a lot of people. That many of you, maybe you still struggling with handling the election results of 2016, and you are in a state of delusion about the election results of 2020. Could we recommend to you New Life Holistic? Go to newlifeholistic.com and experience some biofeedback therapy that could probably reconnect a lot of your wires that have been severed because of maybe some of the communistic teachings, socialistic agendas that have been shoved down your throat and has raped your conscience over the years.
Oh my God, dude.
New Life
Whoa.
Holistic. New Life
Whoa.
Holistic. What's wrong, Dominic?
That's pretty graphic in the morning, man.
It's graphic in the morning because people need to realize. Check this out. See, because a lot of people are saying that they don't believe the issues on the election fraud. I saw this video. I don't know if you've seen this one yet this morning. Check this one out here. There's a video here that shows these individuals. There's a person who's watching them, and she's asking about these all the stuff that's in here. What are they doing? Why are they doing all this stuff here? And the individuals were carrying on with all these. It's hard to even explain here. As you
Yeah,
see
the
here,
problem is, but the problem is it obvious?
oh,
I
it's
mean,
most
is it
definitely obvious.
Okay, so then you're trying to make sense out of something that doesn't make sense. I can't explain anything else. Like if it's raining outside and somebody is like, or I'm like, no, Watson, it's not raining. And you're like, are you kidding me? It's a torrential downpour outside. No, Watson, it's not. And then your basic instinct, which you can't do anymore, is you want to grab me by the back of the neck and pull me outside until the water saturates me. So I agree with you, but you can't do that anymore. So, it's our job to try to convey this material in a presentable, logical, fair way, but nothing makes sense to these morons. And then we get dumbed down even more. That's you know what? No, here it is. Ready? Every one of us has been in one of these relationships where your manipulative ex has made you feel like you are crazy. Would you agree?
Yes.
That's exactly what they're doing. I say it all the time. I dated a psychologist years ago. I don't like to yell in arguments. I don't. I just clam up, shut down, blah, blah, whatever, because I don't want the cops called when they hear me scream. So this woman was very good at, she would scream, 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 scream. I would have enough of it. I'd listen to it for 10, 20 minutes. I'd go all the way up to a level 10. The second I got up there, she'd go, Dom, I'm not yelling. Why are you yelling? And it's like, oh. Or if I would apologize for something, that's called a safe apology, and you really don't mean it. And I had to break up with her because I literally knew that I would strangle her. So, but that's what the left does.
Yeah.
So they're manipulative exes. They know what they're doing.
And I'm, let me see if I got the audio on this, because this is just insane when you look at how bad this is.
You have siblings? I'm not touching you. I'm not, Mom, get your hand out of my, I'm not touching you. And the finger is like a hair distance away from your face. That's what the left is.
Yeah.
You'll be so much happier when you try to stop explaining and when you start beating the crap out of them.
Yeah.
That's what really needs to happen. I'm sorry. The reset button needs to be hit.
Is that in the government building?
Here you go.
Ballots? Yeah. I thought they collected them all. I just want to document.
No, we're still collecting.
How much? Wait, but how come they already called the state?
Because these are mail-in ballots.
Are there a ton in there?
Yeah.
All right. Are you collecting from a lot of places? Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. I'll just document. Thank you guys.
Thank you.
Are you guys official election guys? All right. And let me just ask you one thing. Where do you guys take them?
Election center. That's it.
Is that in the government building?
LA County.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Are there a lot more in there?
6 feet, please.
Okay. Thank you, guys. I just want to see because they called our state so
6 feet,
quickly.
please.
I know. I am.
You don't have a mask either.
Oh yeah. Sorry.
See, so you sit here and you watch this, Dominic. You watch this and you say, okay, who in the world allowed that to continue to happen? And people don't want to. Huh?
We did. This is our fault. 100% our fault. You know why? Because in March, when everybody said, let's go on a shutdown, we all went on a shutdown. Instead of saying, no, you know what? We're going to go back to work, because the only reason anybody is afraid to not comply is they think police are going to wind up arresting them. So if law enforcement actually did their job, which they showed that they didn't do by forcing these mask mandates back over the summer, you can get people rioting and protesting. That's okay. Wear a mask, you're going to get, beaten up and taken to jail. If people all just stood up collectively and said, no, 50 people shut down our country this year, 50 governors.
Yeah.
This is our fault. So anytime something like this happens, there is no one else to blame. Us. That's it. Mail-in ballots, all this. No, you could have voted in person. Every single one of us could have.
Yeah. Well, and the thing
is we're to blame.
Yeah, because it's about to happen here again in Indiana, where Governor Holcomb is going to basically go through another phase of a shutdown. And I'm sitting here
we got the same threat here in Illinois.
And you sit here and you look at these smaller businesses and most of these individuals and most of these people who decided that they wanted to vote for Joe Biden because they believed that he was not as oppressive as Donald Trump. I'm looking here on Daily Mail, and it basically says that Joe Biden says he would shut down the country for another 6 weeks.
Did you see the doctor? I can't remember. Her name is Dr. Naomi Wolf. She's liberal. She's kind of hot, but she's liberal. And I'm paraphrasing her tweet, but she tweeted out that she's has an expertise in health and wellness and all this stuff. And she flat out said, had I known that Joe Biden's agenda was going to be mask mandates and lockdowns, I wouldn't have voted for him. Here's the deal. I don't understand how I do understand how she didn't know this. He was very public about this, but it shows that big tech, your Facebooks, your Instagram, whatever, did not circulate all the Biden stuff. And they get what buyer's remorse.
Exactly. And my thing is is if you sit here, get outside of big tech and you start paying attention to what the opposition is saying and realize, is it true? And do your history on it. Do the investigations. But this is the problem that you get into, Dominic. And this is where I sit on this whole problem. A lot of people are so angry. They're surprised now. We've been trying to tell you this for so long that it gets to the point that we've warned you this is the direction that they were going. We told you that was going to happen. Joe Biden said he would not do fracking. He would not ban fracking. We have evidence that he said he would not ban fracking. Social media has turned around and silenced all those different areas where we try to present the information to you. Fracking's going to be destroyed, whether you're in coal, whether you're in oil, it doesn't matter. And
you really don't think that somebody on the left even remotely knows or cares what fracking is?
Yeah.
You really think they do?
No, they don't.
77 million people allegedly voted for Biden.
Yeah.
77. Barack Obama won with the highest vote count in history in 69 plus, right? You're going to tell me nearly 10 million people more just decided to wait. And just, vote for this dude, this crusty old white dude who's been a part of the system for 50 years and is clearly the man is a racist. There's no question.
Yeah.
It's not assumed. I mean, when you are that comfortable using the N-word in Congress in the 80s, you're a racist. I'm sorry. There's no way. And here's the problem. It goes back to this again. You have children, and there's got to be times where your kids did not want to eat and pouted, but that the food that's going to put in your kids' stomachs is going to be nutritious for their bodies, and their bodies will develop and they'll grow and their brains will function better. There's a point why your kids should eat their vegetables. Your kids don't want to hear it when they're toddlers. Don't want to hear it. That is all you're dealing with. These kids don't talk. They don't care about fracking. They don't care about mask mandates. I was talking to Elise about this on our show the other day. She's like, this whole, they're going to be tracking you from your phone, this and that. And you have to sign up before you leave your house. I'm like, really? You think one of these kids who can't follow basic rules is going to follow COVID lockdown rules, wearing masks? Or get a vaccine, register or say, hey, I'm leaving my home and put it up on wherever. They're not going to obey this.
Yeah.
I personally, there's a part of me, of course, I do not want Biden to win. Not at all. It'll be disastrous for this nation. Disastrous. End of story.
Yeah.
I partly kind of want to, because I want to see this place go to shit, so that we can take a step back and go, hey, you wanted this.
Yeah.
I'm tired of trying to convince you otherwise.
Exactly. Well, and that's my thing, Dominic. It's not just this with Biden becoming president. It's not just this with people wanting socialism and wanting free stuff and not realizing people don't recognize the number of businesses have grown because of the tax cuts. For some strange reason, they don't teach this in school, realizing that poor people aren't the ones who create big businesses. It's people who have money who create big business.
Yeah. Have you ever worked for anybody poor?
No.
I haven't. None of my employers.
None of us have worked for anyone poor.
They employed me.
Yeah, they employed us, but people keep recognizing that. You keep giving more tax opportunities to the rich, not realizing, guess what? If you learned how to manage your money, if you learned how to not be in debt, you would actually have more money, and you could do whatever you want, and you wouldn't have to be relegated to living in a poor neighborhood in these poor sections.
Gotta let them go through this. You have to let them go through this. It's like anything else. You know what you need to do? You need to kind of segment off something, right? Let's say California, because I'm not there. Just segment California, and California is going to be the land of learning. And it should be your giant social experiment to say, all right, hey, you want socialism and you're 16 years old. You got to live between the ages of 16 and 21 here in California. Have at it.
I say give them the whole East Coast. I mean, the whole West Coast. I say from California all the way up to Washington. Give them that whole West Coast, Dominic, and let them have, and I'm serious, build a wall on the border of those states going down saying, you cannot come out of here. Stay in here, live through what you want, and you say that this is going to be, and here's the other thing too, sever Washington, Oregon, and California, Dominic. You create this wall, prevent them from being able to get any money from the government, make your system work. Take all the Hollywood elites, take all the sports stars, everything like that. Let them have their own country, separate the West Coast, let them have Hollywood, and let the rest of the country do whatever they need to avoid. Put all the liberals on the West Coast. And let's see how does that manifest itself.
I'd like some nice weather. Give them New York.
Yeah. Give them New York, the city that never sleeps, and you'll see crime that never sleeps. Round the clock, murder, torture, rape, and so much more, because of the fact that they keep thinking that this kumbaya mentality with no restrictions on people's lawlessness is going to be great. Look, you have New Yorkers who are fleeing the state in droves because there is no order. There is no control, and it's out of order. It's really sad. I don't know, Dominic. I sit here, we talk about the idea of just letting them have what they want. People want to fight.
Doesn't God do that? God does that to us, right?
Yes, he does. He gives. Let's see. Go ahead.
I sat there yesterday. I was talking about on a little bit of a rant how, and you and I have talked about this before. Everybody that I know who's a Christian loves Jeremiah 29:11.
Mm-hmm.
And Jeremiah 29:11, 29, and I'm going to paraphrase unless you can quote it verbatim.
Go for it, bro.
All right. What is it? For I know full well the plans I have for you, says the Lord, plans to prosper, plans for good. Right. So it's like, see, all the Christians I know are all like, he's going to take care of me. He's going to take care of me. It's like, I used to date a Christian years ago. I'm saved. And Catholics believe you got to do the work, right? But to get good, you have to do good works to get into heaven. That's not really the case, because then you devalidate the fact of what Christ did. But I'm getting off the topic here. But if you keep reading in Jeremiah 29:12 and then go to 13, it says, when you seek me with all your heart, you'll find me, right?
Yeah.
You got to do the work.
Yeah.
It's like God saying, I'll give you all this. You got to do the work. So that's socialism right there. That's the younger generation. And this is nothing more. You lived your lifetime to see this. This is, I graduated in 1993. And in 1994 is when they started to get lax with sports. Meaning, now I was not a football player. I was a wrestler. And my high school, the year that I graduated, the next year, a buddy of mine was a football player, and he said that we graduated. He said friends of his who were still on the team, who are now seniors, their parents all wrote into the school, no outdoor running for practice before the season. So if we all went back to school, August? So in the beginning of August, end of July, it was hot out. Well, parents didn't want their kids running outside anymore because they thought it was cruel. So what did the school do? All right, we'll stop that. It'd been going on for 40 years beforehand. That was it. That was the beginning to participation awards. And here we are today.
Wow.
Here we are today. I don't know why anybody's shocked about this.
Yeah. And that's my,
you can't slap you. Would you, again, I don't want to interrupt you, but would you ever slap your children to discipline them in public today?
Most people wouldn't do that. I'll spank my child's behind.
Yeah, but you and I grew up with the whole beatings in public if we acted up.
Yeah.
Most people won't, because then what happens? How many people as a cop? How many kids as a cop? I would go to domestics between mother in her 40s and like 14-year-old kid. Walking, what's the problem? Kid's mouthing off. And then the kid said, mom said, they just said they were going to call 911 if I yelled at him. We'd go off on the kid. What the F is wrong with you? You out of your mind? We're going to let your mother beat you in front of us. Yeah. Oh yeah, this is all in the making.
I mean,
we used to tell parents, beat your kid within a reasonable amount of discipline. Just don't leave marks.
Yeah. Because they have the fear of God in them anymore.
Nope.
And it's sad too, because it's not only the children who don't have the fear of God in them, there are Americans who don't have the fear of God in them. And this is where we lean when we say give the people what they want. Judges, the book of Judges, 350 years, I believe it was, that the children of Israel had gone through a cycle of being in bondage because of their disobedience against God. And when they repented, God relented, and he delivered a judge to free them from their bondage. Everything was cool and copacetic, and then they went back into their disobedience against him. But this is what it says in Judges chapter 2, verse 16. Then the Lord raised up judges. And actually, I'm going to go back to verse 11. And the people of Israel did what was evil in the sight of the Lord and served the Baals. And they abandoned the Lord, the God of their fathers, who had brought them out of the land of Egypt. They went after other gods from other gods of the people who were around them, and they bowed down to them, and they provoked the Lord to anger. And this is the thing about it, that people, we sit here all the time. What is one of our biggest slogans of this country? God bless America.
Don't touch it; it will never heal. Don't play with it in public. What?
Yeah. God bless America. We say, God bless you, God bless America. And we say all these other different things, but we've walked away, Dominic, from the God who has blessed America.
Oh, it's because you don't want, man, it's like you and I talk about this privately and whatnot. And it's like, I'm very pleased with my relationship with Christ. I'm getting to know the Holy Spirit, and everyone's like, dude, is there anything you fear? And I'm like, yeah, I'm terrified of God. Are you kidding me? I am. Yeah, I've got that healthy amount of fear, but that's what people don't have. They're not afraid of what he's, it's like, he could just said I wouldn't flood the earth again. Here comes wormwood. Yeah, we're going to end up but there's a sadistic part of me that is, I'm singularly hoping when he comes back that I'm not gonna go, hey, yo, Jesus, yeah, over here. I don't know you. That terrifies me, number one. But if he does know me, I will be okay with seeing the millions of people who are just like in the streets, hysterically terrified, crying, and they just can't figure out why. And there's gonna be a bunch of us going, dude, we tried to tell you.
Yeah. Well, see, here's the thing about this. It's going to be crazy, though, on this, though, is that because right now we've been told that the greatest evils to be concerned about in this country is people being rich, people being white, people being racist or sexist.
Okay.
And we have completely ignored the clear corruption that's taking place during this election process. We've watched the clear corruption taking place even in the media giants, the tech giants, who have censored the truth and censored so much. Right now, we had Governor Gavin Newsom over this last 6 months basically shut down churches. People were allowed to protest. You had Kamala Harris, you had Governor Whitmer arm in arm with people as they're sitting in solidarity for George Floyd.
Oh, they were just celebrating their win.
And just celebrating, exactly. Celebrate, yeah. Celebrating.
Dude, it's obvious. But Watson, it's obvious. Churches suffered. How are you? And screw every church leader out there who actually obeyed this. My congregation, they're just worried about their funds. I'm sorry. I don't care who says what. I don't want my congregation sick. No, you should have been like, you know what? You want to come to church, wear a mask. We'll figure something out. It was summertime. They could have all had masks out in the parking lot. I really don't care. Or service, whatever you call it. There's no excuse. It's full on attacking God. It's full 100%. And here we are, cowards going, we have to obey. We have to obey. Yeah. That's why I stopped going to church. Man, I don't see any new church leaders at all, or true church leaders.
Well, the problem, though, is I believe that there are church leaders out there, Dominic. The problem is the fad has been into a lot of these other church leaders or these paragons of faith and leadership in the community that have basically taken a horrible position in reference to lockdowns. It's really sad. One of the guys I used to respect, and I guess I need to do a little bit more history on him, but John Piper is someone that I had respect for, but come to find out, there's a lot of things that even John Piper is saying. Tony Evans is saying things that are just really problematic and is very sad. Tony Evans is embracing the ideas of socialism. Tony Evans is embracing the ideas of critical race theory, and it's rather unfortunate. Again, I don't understand. I don't understand why is this huge emphasis on people being denied stuff in this world if our citizenship is in heaven. And there's this effort to make sure that everybody has an equal amount. It takes me to the scripture passage that says, the wide is the path of destruction, and narrow is the path for life.
Do you ever think that maybe just deals with, instead of broadening your focus to try to, just save everybody else, maybe you just focus on yourself? Maybe it's time to be selfish. Maybe what more can you do?
I think here's the issue. I don't think it's saying for us to be selfish. I think it's saying to focus on the idea, narrow your focus on how it is that, one, you make sure that you're narrowing your focus on these are the fundamentals of truth that we can't deviate from. Two, you narrow your attention on where it is that God is having you focus on reaching people. You stay focused on sharing the truth because of the fact that someone will soon hear it. I think a lot of us get frustrated, and I know I get frustrated at times, where I feel like, how can you ignore the truth that I'm sharing with you? My goal is never to convert people to actually hear the truth or respond to the truth. First, it's the truth of God's word, that I can't make people believe what God's word has to say. There's nothing I can do in that area. And then we can't make people understand or see the truth in how devastating socialism and communism, progressivism really is.
Figure it out on their own. You know what? All of us have taken back that X 2, 3, 7 times, whatever. Some of us, they're going to change. And then we're like, it's the same thing I tell people when they're going through, my boyfriend does this, my girlfriend does that. It's like, dude, and they're like, do you judge me for going back to them? I'm like, dude, when you've had enough, you'll know.
Yeah.
It's not up to me to say. You want to give them 20 chances, go right ahead. It's not my business.
Well, the problem is, the problem that you run into with the excessive chances that people are given, Dominic, is the fact that people are, when they give them another chance, they're hoping in their own strength that they're going to be the ones who's going to change that person to the degree that they're going to like them and be acceptable.
Yeah, but
I think that's the messed up mentality.
These socialist people who want socialism, who are voting again for the Democrats, they're hoping that they're just going to get their way.
Yeah,
they're not.
They're not.
And
that's
thinning the herd. It's called thinning the herd. Well, and I'm okay with it.
It's going to be a painful experience, Dominic, for a lot of them individuals who did not want to hear or receive the truth that we shared with them. It's unfortunate. It's really sad. It's heartbreaking. But all we can do is stay focused on presenting the truth. It's the Spirit of God who will convert the hearts of people to receive the truth and be ready for that when it comes into their lives. Because what is it God says? Apart from me, you can do nothing. Well, apart from the Spirit of God touching the lives of an individual, the truth will never be free. And what is the word also says? Where the Spirit of the Lord is, there is liberty. Where the Spirit of God is, there is freedom. Where God's Spirit is residing and his truth is residing, there is freedom for it's offered to every individual.
Dude, it is so unbelievable. Like, anybody's stressing about this election or what's going on, this, that. Dude, oh my God, it's not in our control. It's just like, hey, you know what? He's got it. Why are you stressing? Meaning God's got it, not trying.
Well, here's my thing, though.
Give up control.
A lot of people want to go to war, Dominic, and they want to get into this battle of trying to fight for this nation. Let's say everyone wins, okay? We take the House. We take so much more. Who are the people that are left over to enjoy the blessings of the fruit of our labors and our sacrifice? Still, so many American citizens who don't want to receive and hear the truth. So are we just only extending their misery by trying to provide comfort and freedom and liberty to them, or do we stand back and give them what they want?
Yes.
Well, that is so profound. And we have about a minute.
I know.
We're about 45 seconds. Dominic,
tonight.
Dominic, why don't you tell people how they can reach you?
No, they don't want to. I don't. No. Don't. Reverse psychology. Don't listen to my show. It's not on at 7 p.m. Eastern, Monday through Friday here. Don't listen to it. It's not worth it. Hide your children. It is not content for the Watson will tell you off air how he's like, dude, please watch your mouth when you're on my show. I'm like, all right, fine.
Folks, Brad Staggs and Daily Mojo's up next. If you're listening in the morning, and if you're listening in the afternoon, it's Andrew Coppins. We are signing off. Thanks, Dom. Y'all take care and have a good day. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness.